Buddy, welcome. Hopefully everyone is having a great day. We're going to go ahead and get started here soon with some Derivita speak. So my name is Justin Anderson. I'm one of the EdTech specialists here in ISD, and I am joined by the lovely Rachel Marshall, who will be going through and kind of talking through some of this with you today. And we'll just pull up the slides here and just kind of start off. Awesome. So as we get started, just some things to think about. First off, remember this will be recorded and put on Canyon's U afterwards if you have any questions, need support, or any of those types of things. So that's going to be there. Use the chat feature if you have any questions as we go through this today. Just have some minor technical difficulties as we're all getting ready. You know, it's the first week of school fun.
Here we go. Sorry about that.
Okay, we got that figured out. So as we go ahead and get started, remember you can use the chat for any questions as you go through. We'll be answering them throughout the time. I'll be giving those to Rachel. And then, like I said, these things are recorded. At the end of it, there will be the link to fill out the form if you'd like to get credit for it and all of those things. So Rachel, I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to you.
Okay, awesome. We're recording? You're recording?
Yes, we are recording as well.
Okay, awesome. Welcome, guys. I'm really excited. So this is more of just like a how-to. And so the first thing I want you to do is to make sure that you are in a Canvas course, whether it's your shell course or even the course that you are going to be, that you're actually housing all of your math. So it doesn't matter, but you need to be in a Canvas course because I want you to do this along with us. So just, professional development norms, like Justin said, if you do have a question, put it in the chat. He's monitoring it. So he'll tell me and say, hey, we have a question. I can't see you. So if you're waving, again, Justin's the one who is monitoring that. So please get his attention. And again, ask questions. I am not the expert on Derivita. This is the one for just basic Derivita. So I'm going to show you what I've been playing with and what I've discovered to kind of help you, and also the things that we've talked to Derivita about that have some, like we said, well, we've heard this, can you guys fix this? So just so you know. All right, so we always come back to our multi-tiered system of support. Derivita is basically for personalized learning, and it is the platform. It is an optional platform. It's an optional add-in, but it does help with math tremendously in Canvas. So I don't know if you were there at District Day, but Devlin Daly, who is the creator of Canvas, realized the shortfalls of math in Canvas, and he's the one who created Derivita. Okay, so our learning intentions and success criteria for the next 24 minutes together are that we are going to learn about Derivita and its integration with Canvas, and you'll know you're successful when you can create an assignment in Derivita. So here's basically what we're going to go over. We're going to go over how to create an assignment. It seems really daunting, but the great thing is because we have contracted with Derivita to create the assignments and problems from our 6 through 12 curriculum, it's actually really easy. And again, this is basic Derivita. If you want the advanced integration, that's at 330 from Derivita. So just know that. So we're going to create an assignment. We're going to talk about why the assignments are created the way that they are. Or I'm going to show you what a student sees once we've created the assignment. Also, there's some hand-graded problems. So how will you know what to grade? We're going to talk about assessments, because even if you're not going to use Derivita for any of your assessments or any of your assignments, the only one that you really need to know how to do is our DWSBUS for 6 through 8. So just know that. So you'll need to know what an assessment looks like. We're going to touch a little bit on spot check, what spot check is. And then I'm going to share with you some tips and troubleshooting and what you can do further. So because this is kind of a show and tell and show and do, if you are stuck and you do have questions, again, please ask Justin and he'll be my co-host and be like, so Rachel, we have a question from caller number 2. That's what it feels like in here. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay, so how to create an assignment. Let's go to Canvas. No matter what, you are going to be creating anything, if it's an assignment or a quiz or an exam, through the assignments tab. So you will go to the blue assignment, add assignment. And let's say I know that this is for 8th grade. This is even 8th grade unit 1.1 or section 1.1. We'll say 1.2 because today's the third day of school. So you might have already been in there. You can give instructions just like you are creating any assignment. Give the instructions like you can use a calculator. Good luck. I know a lot of you have some great assignment directions that you already have that you may copy and paste in here to make it your own. Do that. It'll still be there. And make sure if this is a homework assignment, because I know you do have categories that are created in Canvas, and then for pass back, they go back to Skyward. So for weighted purposes, if this is a homework assignment, make sure it is in that appropriate category and display your greatest points. I am waiting on the assignment points because I don't have the book in front of me, so I don't know how much I want it to be out of until I actually see it. Okay, so this is where you get it. It's in the submission type. And you are going to click on external tool.
And this is the same process that you're going to go through for like a Google, when you do your Google assignments, which is really nice. So up into here, right, everything is kind of the same from here forward.
Right.
And then Derivita just kind of, you choose that instead of Google, which is nice.
Yeah, so that's really what you're going to do. So you click on find, and we do have the external tool. So you're going to scroll down. We have a lot of external tools, but you're going to choose the Derivita external tool. And it takes us a minute to load. So it takes a minute to load when it's displaying. So there we go. Okay. So like I said, we have contracted with Derivita to write all of the assessments and practice problems for 6 through 12. So you can see over to the left where they said canyons, 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 canyons. Those are all of the grade levels. Now, we started this over the summer, so they do not have the whole curriculum written, uploaded yet. They're working feverishly, but they're trying to stay between 2 to 3 weeks ahead of us. So they mostly have all of unit 1 done. So I'm going to, since this is 8th grade, I'm going to click on the down arrow, the little caret arrow. You can see all of the lessons that have been done for 8th grade up to this point. And we are in lesson 1.2. So in this case, there are 3 questions that have been created. And you can either select a few of them, like I only want to do 2 of them, or you can click select all. And then I click next, and it's going to show me what the questions are. So for number 1, for this first one, there are 2 parts. And for number 3, it's a select 2 ways. And then there is this middle question. So in this case, I'm going to make it out of 5 points. So I'm going to click create.
So while you do that, we have a question here.
Yes.
Just Amy's asking, it doesn't give the review questions, correct?
So it does give the review questions. They're still working. So I just looked at this this is Amy Olson or Amy Giles?
Amy Olson.
Amy. Hey, Amy. So It does. They're working on the ones that they have to like draw. So they're still working on those. You can create them if you want, but they do have the majority of the questions in there. There are just some ones that they haven't been able to like figure out how to integrate because of the way that they're written. So they will have most of them in there. So good question. We're still telling them you need these in there. So good question. Once I've clicked create, I've got to then come back and push select again. And you can see now it has a link in there in the external tool. I said it was going to be out of 5 points. Allowed attempts with homework. You may want unlimited attempts. You can put a due date on there. A few things we learned that they're trying to work through, but we don't have a solution quite yet. Number one is if a student goes in and starts the assignment and then stops doing it, after 2 days, it automatically submits for them. So it automatically submits a 0. So we're still working on that. I don't have answers, but just know. So kind of tell students, if you're going to do it in one sitting. Don't forget. Otherwise you are going to get a 0 on it. And then you have to go back and they can resubmit it. That's totally fine. Just know that that is a 0 that's going to end up in Skyward. And it depends on your school's policy about zeros on homework. So just know that.
Another question for you. Sherry Patterson's asking, will there be assessments for the high school courses and where can we find them?
I will show the assessments momentarily. Very good question. Okay, so we are going to push save and publish. I want to save and publish. So this is an assignment that's in the student's assignment. It's assigned to them. If you've put it to a due date, you can tell them where to find it. If you have your modules, you're going to do 1.2. But a few things that I've learned is you can also change the settings within Derivita. So you can change the assignment settings here. In this case, this is a homework assignment. If I randomly, because my kids were being little turds and I wanted them to really turn it in, I could make this homework a quiz. And so you can make it a quiz and the settings change. So just know that, but I want it to be homework. I want it to be homework. Randomizations per question. This doesn't apply to middle school, but it does apply to high school. So what they've done in high school is they have taken the MVP curriculum and they have created the all of the problems, the homework problems, the ready, set, go, and there's another R and I can't remember that R. But what they've done is then they've taken each of those and created similar problems so that students might not get the exact same problem. They're still working out, there are still some kinks that Allison and I are giving feedback on. So they know that, the retreat, that it may not feel like it totally aligns, but it does. We're trying to get them to reformat so it looks like it really does align. But this, so you can add, if they get it wrong, I want them to try it 2 or 3 more times, but they get different problems. Attempts per randomization, how many attempts on that problem do they get before it just says you're done? You can give a password to the assignment. Again, it's up to you. This show work, if you turn it on, there is at the end, there's an option for them to take a picture of their work, like their actual homework page, and upload it so you can see that they've actually done it. Again, that's up to you. So there's nothing in this that I technically want to do it yet, but I only have 3 questions. There's no students that have answered yet. So I'm going to go in quickly and I'm going to answer these questions so you can see what it looks like. Do not push toggle student view because it's going to think something different. Just push the Canvas student view. Now, as you can see, I have my instructions up here. So whatever the instructions look like. And I understand that this question looks slightly different than in the book. Again, it's because of the way, I think this question actually says you have to draw it. Well, you can't really draw it on here. So yes, there is a limitation. As with all technology, not one single technology piece is going to answer and solve all problems. So there are limitations, but it is better than purely Canvas math. Okay, so which pair of cards? I'm just going to answer. And it does say check answer. Now look, it says not quite, try again. And then, okay, shows this image after a rotation. I'm going to answer. Oh, wait. It shows me that the first one is correct, but the second one is not. So I'm going to try again. So it did. If I had gotten that answer wrong again, it might have given me a hint, but it's not going to tell me the correct solution until I've tried it 3 times.
Quick question for you
Yes.
to clarify. Kevin is just wanting clarification about the due date auto submit about the student if they don't finish the 2-day thing. If you could just review that real fast.
So if I, like as a student, if I go in, I've done number 1, I get distracted, I'm done, or it's too hard for me, and I don't push submit, I just go out and I do my other stuff. After 2 days, it automatically submits what they have. And so if they don't have anything, if they just even start it, it could submit it as a 0. They can still go back in, that's fine. It just automatically submits. So that we know that's a limitation, and they're trying to figure out the workaround.
So in addition to that, they're asking, so if they do push submit, can they still go back and work on it?
Yes, yes, they can. They can go back. You can add additional tries to the students. Yes. This says describe how the shapes move. I'm going to write, don't hate me, IDK. Now, notice there's no feedback because it is a manually graded question. So it says submitted, the question will be manually graded by your instructor. Okay, select 2 ways. I'm going to submit, check answer. Nope, try again. Those were all wrong. I don't know, check answer. Nope, try again. So notice I tried it 3 times. After the 3rd time, it actually shows me what the correct answer is. Not quite. So I don't have any attempts remaining. So I am done, and I'm going to go to my summary to know what my score is. For students, again, this is a student view. For students, this little check marks means the teacher has to grade it. So I'm going to send my grade. It says final score, but remember, that's not really final score. It's just somewhat final. Okay. So now what does a student see? Or what does the teacher see? Notice up here, when I get to this assignment, just like Speed Grader, it tells me which ones need to be graded. I know that I need to grade number 2. And it says correct, good job. I don't want that. We're working with them to not put that on there. We know that. I'm telling you that right now. So I'm going to override the score, and I'm going to give a 0 out of 2. And then we're good. And that is it. So now they have there is a score. You can see it for every single student. Up here, there's only 1 student, but you can just toggle through. This Isaac Marshall has not taken it, so he has no score. Johnny Campus also hasn't taken it, so he has no score. So I know the ones who haven't taken it.
And
yes.
Quick question for you. Is there a way to make a comment on a student's assignment that has been teacher graded?
Good question. I thought there was. Not on some of these. We'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
That's a really good question. I thought there was. I've got to look into that some more. So it might not be answered now. So whoever that is, email me.
It's Amber. And I think it's important to know, if you scroll up to the top and realize it's Speed Grader within Speed Grader. So you're not in the normal Speed Grader.
Right.
When you go to the assignment as a teacher, Derivita has its own Speed Grader inside. So that, I think, is important to realize, that you're not going into that Speed Grader. It's inside that assignment there.
So you're grading it through the LTI. You're not grading it through Canvas. Yes. Thank you. Any other questions?
Not at this moment.
Okay, awesome. All right. So now we are going to talk about why the assignments were created the way that they were. So because the expectation from principals in 6 through 8 is to do the curriculum with no changes, we asked Derivita to create as best they can all of the assignments, practice problems, and assessments as written. Now, if there are some that are drawing or weird things, they are asking me, is this okay? So if you see it different, know that I approved it. The questions are not randomized, and they do include more manually graded questions because a lot of those questions do ask, explain your work. And so that's why you're going to have to go in and manually grade what for some of those questions. What they are working on is for those questions to have like your whole screen be full of that same question. So you can just look and give points. So your whole screen would have like 20 students on it. So you can grade it really quickly instead of having to go student by student. You can go problem by problem instead. They are still working on that. So question?
Just a clarification, Kevin did some research about the submitting and due date thing and says that it will, on the due date, it will mark everyone as a 0 on that due date. So
Yeah, so
it'll
there is the
automatically
due date
submit the
thing
assignment
on the
and
due
do the
date
due
as
date.
well.
Yeah. So
It does
in
do that.
addition, he's just saying FYI.
Yes,
And
we are
then-
also working on that with them too.
And I have another question from Kathy Myers who says, I have a co-taught class. Is it possible to give all students the same problem so the SPED teacher doesn't have to differentiate problems for all the kids? Doesn't have to do different problems for the kids.
Yeah.
So in the co-taught class, you can differentiate them that way.
So is it possible to give them all the same questions?
Yeah. Is it possible to give all students the same problems so the special ed teacher doesn't have to do different problems for all the kids? Should she email you to find out more
Email
information?
me and we can pass that on to Derivita.
Perfect.
In the secondary math, that's where those questions come in because they are randomized. But we're working with them to not have so much randomization. I will tell you that because they've added in a lot more randomization and it's getting a little confusing.
Speaking of randomization, we have a question about that. Is there a way to turn off the randomization so students don't see answers after 3 attempts? They're worried that their students will guess 3 times and then redo the assignment after they know the answers.
Okay, so yes, you can go to overview and you can go to the settings, the assignment settings. You can actually put that up to like 8 randomizations. So they have to go through 8 times. I mean, if a student's really going to do that, it comes out on the test. That's the reality. You can't necessarily turn off the randomization, but what you can see is you will be able to see how long it took them for each attempt. And then you'll know, hey, this kid like decided to go through and just get the right answer at the very end and then go back and do it. And that's when you have a conversation with them and say, I've noticed you've done this on 10 assignments. Like it's going to come out on their assessment. That's where it's going to come out. I wish that there was a way that we could turn off that randomization at this point. It's built in. We're working with Derivita. They know the situation. They are wanting to do for us lots of things because we spent a lot of money on it. So they're like, we will do whatever you want. So that's where, just really quickly, if you need support, like you guys can email us all you want. Allison and I are just going to send it on to Derivita. So they actually said, if your teachers have anything, email support@derivita.com and they will, they'll work on it. So I understand that there is the fear of students going through it really quickly 3 times. I mean, again, you could set the randomizations to 8 and then they have to do it 8 times and they're going to have to suffer the natural consequences of sitting through it 8 times. And also, when we asked Derivita about this, they actually told us about some research that says even if students see the right answer and haven't done any work, they're still learning and they're still learning that, that content. So it actually is okay for them to see the right answer. In this presentation, because we only have 3 more minutes, there is this video on creating your own questions. I do want to go over really quickly importing tests. So it is still in the assignment category. Add the assignment, I'm going to say unit 1 test. But this is where you need to be careful and make sure it's in the correct assignment group in unit tests. It is still in the external tool. It is still in Derivita. It is still takes a minute when I'm presenting to pull up Derivita.
It does it on purpose, I'm sure. And I was
So
just going to
there's
add to that question kind of about the attempts. I know that those 3 different types, there's the homework, the quiz, and the exam type of a thing. And so, yes, the homework and I think the quiz will show them those right answers, and then the exams will not show them the right answers.
I want to show the setting. You have to put it on there to not show
Yeah,
the
so
right answer.
so there is in those cases as well, if you're like, okay, I want to do a spot check and see where my kids are, and I want to see their actual, like, what is it right now? That one is like a one in every question's one and done and no feedback type of a thing.
Right.
So yeah, there's those options as well.
So in 6th grade, mid-unit, I'm going to check the mid-unit test. Here's all the questions. I'm going to select all, select next, create. There are, and select. I'm going to have it worth 20 points. At this point, save and publish. This is where the assignment settings are very important. Very important. This exam is not homework. It is an exam. You can give a time limit, like they have only 1 class period to do it. You need to toggle this to hide results, especially if there are hand-graded questions. Hide the results and let them know they're not going to see their results until you have it graded. You can enable this lockdown so that it closes open tabs. It actually is pretty cool. You can put a password on it. So they have to, I know a lot of people do their passwords. Mine are never creative. I would put unit 1 test, but then the kids would catch on. So you'd have to add in.
Weird. I wonder how they figured that out. You must have taught like super smart kids.
Right. And then it does look very much, and then the assignment, oh, did I? Yes, I did push save and publish. So then it tells you, you have a time limit of 55 minutes. Any questions answered but not submitted by then will be submitted for you. When you finish entering your responses, click the submit button on the summary page. So then they have a summary page that shows them you haven't answered or you have answered. So I can go to the summary page and it says, oh, look, you haven't answered. And if you hide the results, it doesn't tell them what they got. So I know that's a lot. I know it's 30 minutes in. I'm happy to sit down and do some more with you, but like I can push submit. You have 7 unanswered questions and it's not telling me what I got. I can't see it until, as a teacher, my teacher has gone in and graded it, and then I can see it in my Skyward and Canvas. Okay. If there's more in this PowerPoint, there is this link to a deeper dive, and all of these hyperlinks are instructions, and they have short videos of how to do each of these. Simple question editor, timers, accommodations, late policies. You can print off the assignments. I don't know why, because we already have the print version, but you can. You can how to override grades and give partial credit, and how to edit assignments and remove questions if you want to. So they have all of these on here. Okay, so thank you for coming. And
okay, thank you everybody. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully we got your questions answered and all that jazz. I'm going to put in the chat the links to Canyons U, the Bite Size PD page where you can go and find all this information and the links, everything after it's been uploaded, as well as the link for the relicensure credit. So I'll put those in the chat for you. Feel free to check those out if you'd like to get any of those or those resources. The video and the links will be posted probably tomorrow or the next day. So just be on the lookout for those and then reach out to Rachel if you have any questions. Thank you all. Have a great day. Enjoy.
Bye.